Hello, everyone. It's day 7
Yep.
of our PTSD and Anxiety and Depression Awareness Push Up Challenge. Um, where do we start?
Well, let me do a quick recap. For those of you that haven't seen, you may have only seen one or two of the episodes or whatever, but the reason that we were invited to speak is that very close friends of ours, Tracy and Brian Akamini, had experienced a traumatic episode in their family and asked us to join them in a push up challenge for PTSD and anxiety awareness. So, what they didn't know at the time was that I had been diagnosed as a result of a head injury when I was a child, with cycling through manic and depressive episodes, and meds have been suggested through the majority of my life, and it's not something that's easy to explain or describe. But what we thought about today is that we wanted to talk a little bit about the experience of the support people that are around people that are suffering from and experiencing episodes like what I just described. And so the poster child for that, of course, after 22 years, is my wife.
Yeah. Well, I had shared early on in this challenge that it was years before I really understood what was happening with Lee because he was silently suffering. We've been together for 24 years, but marriage, the first year, you're really still getting to know that person, and he would go through these cycles and I couldn't understand it. At first, I made it about me, like what did I do wrong? What could I do different? But over the years, I've realized that he has his own cycle and things to deal with, that it really didn't have to do with me, but that he was dealing with something deeper that I really didn't understand. And so I think inherently I knew not to try to fix it, but I gave him a lot of space to work through it. And I remember one morning where he didn't want to get out of bed, and and I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And he just says, "I just want a hug." That was he asked. He goes, Can you just hold me?" And that's my go-to now when he's in this space. I don't say anything. I just hold him.
So let me ask you a question now on that, because off script, right? This wasn't the plan, so I'm putting you on the spot. But you are like an action-oriented person, right? So what did it feel like to not know what to do, or?
It was hard. I mean, you know, to love is easy for me. I know how to do that, but I felt helpless. I couldn't get you out of these episodes, and I realized as years have gone by, it's not my place to get you out of these episodes, but just try to meet you where you are and understand and just accept, and give you the support that you need when you ask for it. So it's been a really kind of as you can see in our videos, we ebb and flow really well. When I'm speechless, he moves in, and I think it's kind of taught us that ebb and flow, the balance of shifting energies between each other, which makes us really effective as parents and as spouses. But yes, I wish I could do more. I'm a doer. I want to fix things, but I don't always have the answer. So, and I don't always know what to do. So it kind of like last week when he was talking about his traumatic episode, I knew he was agitated last week, and I asked, but then I didn't ask, and I didn't follow up until Friday when he shared about his episode. Like, it dawned on me, I don't really understand what it feels like to be in that episode.
Well, there's something that happened actually in that, and it's a way that she phrased the question that went beyond just sort of the superficial, oh, I want to understand, what's going on for you or whatever. Now, I'm just going to say that this can apply to any number of things and places that you don't understand or haven't experienced. How do you get to that place of empathy and that place of being a helpmate, regardless of whether it's marriage related or intimate or a friend? How do you get there? So I just wanted to share, because there's something that you did last week and the way that you asked. Do you remember what that was?
I don't know.
So you said these words. She said, "I don't know what that feels like. what does it feel like in your body when this happens?
Yeah.
So for me, that was interesting because it went beyond the sort of emotional or mental focus of quote unquote depression or quote unquote anxiety. And it just said, how do you feel in your body? Describe what you're going through. And it was probably the first, I shouldn't say the first, but I should say the most impactful moment that I've ever experienced with you in trying to understand what was going on for me. It was 100% about trying to step into my shoes and grasp what that feels like. I had a couple of friends who were in the workforce and they recently started their own company, and I asked her why, and she talked about some of the things that she was experiencing in the workplace. And it was devastating emotionally for her. And it wasn't until I asked that question, what does it feel like, that she just was able to just let it all go. And so I know we ran a little bit long today, but I just wanted to share with you the sort of the intuitive wisdom that she has exhibited in our relationship and how it has helped me through various situations. We'll get into a little bit more specifics tomorrow, but I think right now we owe someone a nomination.
Yeah. I actually want to nominate another high school friend of mine, and Scott, please, if it's too much for you, I would love for Scott Dunbar to be our next nominee. He shared a little bit on my thread today that just got me crying all over again. I was friends with Scott in high school, and then we met at our 30-year reunion, and I don't even think he remembered that we were friends in high school. It was one of those situations, but I have so much respect for you, Scott and Janet, and how you navigate your relationship, and I really would be honored if you would consider giving us your perspective on PTSD and anxiety and depression as it shows up in your life. So with that, we're going to do our...
Yeah, we'll do our 25, but the takeaway is that for those of you that are trying to support and love people who are struggling with this, it's not about you. Don't make it about you. It's not even really about them, because the brain and chemistry just does its own thing sometimes, and it may just be a process of letting it work through until it's time to ask that question. What does it feel like? Even in the deepest moments of those episodes, I can answer that question. It's probably the only question I could answer. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
25 push-ups. Here we go.
It's time, Milo. You ready?
Look out. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Look at G's push-ups, getting better. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. All right. Bye.
Good night, everyone.